Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to take us through SAS Viya in the cloud. My name is Danny Sprukulis, and I am a solution specialist at SAS right now. I am a graduate of SAS's Customer Advisory Academy. My role is a solution specialist, which allows me to work with mid-market organizations to help them find value in their data. Before I joined SAS, I played a little bit of college football and I studied mechanical engineering and business. From there, I learned to love the statistics of sports, which encouraged me to find a job in analytics. And that brings me to working at SAS, where I am right now. Moving on, so this is what we're going to be taking a look at. So today we're going to be looking at what is SAS Viya and how does it perform in the cloud. And so what is SAS Viya? Well, it's SAS's latest generation of SAS's analytics platform. SAS Viya conceptually can be broken down into four key areas, and those are the four areas we're going to follow today. First, it is unified for collaboration, meaning that it was built for those of many different skill sets so that they can all work together to meet their end goals as a team. Secondly, it's automated to boost productivity. The system is able to read your data and make preliminary suggestions on what to do, and it can explain what your data is saying and can generate models based on the data alone. It has governing abilities. Our third point is our governing abilities, which will allow you to control the data workflow and see the data's lineage and status, and as well as our models data lineage and status. And it can be set up however your security requirements have needed to be met. Whatever security requirements they have, Viya can be set up to accommodate that. Lastly, its architecture combined with the cloud gives us an easier impact on our CPU, as well as how easy it is to utilize your data. So let's begin. So we're going to start with our unified for collaboration. So our unified for collaboration, whether you're coding, a data scientist, or business analyst, you can use SAS Viya to its full extent. At SAS, we have three stages of we utilize three stages of SAS Viya: data, discovery, and deployment. Data is the first blue bit right here, is where you're just dealing with the data. You're just dealing with cleaning and transforming. Whereas the next bit you have discovery, which is where you build visualizations, you explore the data that you have, you can build charts, you can build graphs, you build dashboards, which is our analytic visualization, using location analytics. You can also use interactive modeling, which we'll see later, as well as machine learning. So discovery is us finding what's going on inside our data. Lastly is the deployment phase, which is deploying the model, applying governance to our data and making published reports and using and setting out the final models of your data. Lastly, this is all wrapped up in a unified system where all these aspects are put together. It also allows for open source to be used with its products. So R or Python, you can utilize that within SAS Viya. You can use it in your data steps, you can use it in the discovery and deployment. So even in our data cleaning stages, you can use Python or R, whatever you see fit. It is enterprise ready. And so it can be used directly within your business, and it's ready to be used whenever you want it to be. And lastly, it can take in a diverse set of users. And so it doesn't matter which your background is in tech. You can, if you're a business analyst, a data scientist, you can utilize SAS Viya to its fullest extent. So you're trying to find the so what. You can see all the aspects of the data and ask deeper questions, and then you can also operationalize the process. And so anyone of any skill set, which I'll show later, you can utilize SAS Viya, because you can dive deeper into coding. You can just stick to visualizations where it's just drag and drop features, or you can get into the IT area where you can work with permissions and understand how different levels of security can work. Next, we have automated to boost productivity. And so we have it into three sections. We have, and so we'll start with data suggestions, which is Viya telling you what it suggests you to do for data transformation, and what visualization it views as impactful. So sometimes Viya will suggest you data transformations and visualizations that it believes will be best for your project. As you can see in the picture there, it's suggesting a graph for the data set without me asking it to do so. Next is the automated explanation charts, which is your data, what your data says or what your model says, and it gives you a detailed report of its findings in natural language, as well as many plots such as line plots, ice plots, PD, any of the ones that you need. They'll be there and ready to go. And lastly, it will read your data and suggest models that can run from it. You can get the model maker to auto-generate a model, or you can use the templates given to you as well as the ones that you've previously built. And so that's how automated will assist you in the SAS Viya world. Next is our governance section. So it can be also broken down to 3 areas: our intelligent decisioning, our data model health, and security. And so for intelligent decisioning, it's training jobs to run your data automatically through pipelines and pre-made workflows. So we have a tab within SAS Viya called Intelligent Decisioning, where you can set up triggers for your data. And so if it meets certain requirements, it can run through those and go through different models as you see fit. It can also go through different visualizations and impact you in any ways that you need. Your data model health is where you, once you publish a model that you've built, you can monitor its health as it goes through its lifespan. So over time, we know models become less and less accurate. You have to take them out, retrain them, and then redeploy them. And so SAS Viya can actually help you track that. You can see how well the model is performing and how well it's expected to be performing. And it'll also tell you when you should start retraining it. And then lastly, security. So in order to control your data through row-level security, you can choose who can view it internally and externally. And so this is something very popular with customers. A lot of them have customers who want to come into SAS Viya and view it externally. But a lot of the data, you don't want other people reading it. So you are able to actually put security measures on the data so that certain people viewing it can only view certain charts that only show different data points that they're allowed to see. So you can do row level security and limit what people are actually seeing within your data as much as you want that to be. Same thing go internally. Different departments can view data in their own ways, and so that there's no confusion. And next, before we hop into the cloud and architecture, we're actually going to go into our technology showcase. And so I'm going to click us through. So right here in front of us, we have SAS Viya. And SAS Viya is this isn't an install on my computer. This is just a browser open. I open a browser, I type in the demo.sas demo, and this brings me to this environment. It gives me all these panels to work with. So these are all the different aspects of SAS Viya, as we saw on that unified page. That we have our data steps up here at the top. We have our visualizations right here. Then we have our building and managing models. And we have our develop SAS code. If you want to get into SAS coding, that's where you use the R and Python. You can also build custom graphs and themes. I've done those quite a bit. And then you have some fraud and security intelligence if you see fit. So you can see all of this is in a unified environment, all within a cloud environment as well. So this is not on my computer that I'm using right now. This is just streaming from our cloud instance. So right now we're starting in prepare data, which is called our data studio. And so right here you can see on the left-hand side we have all these transformations of what we can do to the data. And so we can change the cases of the data that's in there. We can rename columns. We can join, append. We can do identification analysis. And all these, SAS has many classes to learn the specifics of each one of these and use them to their full extent. And so on the right-hand side, you can see all of the different transformations that I've used on this particular set. I've used quite a bit of code in here. So you can see in the right here, this is step 11. So we have all this code right here. So you can see that I'm putting in longitudes and latitudes manually. And but you can there's definitely streamlined processes to do so. But I have many different steps for that. So just changing certain areas, like looking for indexes on your data. And lastly, I'll show you that suggest tab, so we can get suggestions for this data set. And so it'll read our data set as it's doing right now, and it's going to give us a suggestion of what types of transforms we can do to our data. And so since I've already used this data set, none of the suggestions right here it's not giving us any suggestions right now. I'll show you in Explore and Visualize where it'll actually give us some more suggestions, but that is our data studio. And so this is our Explore and Visualize area. So this is where you visualize your data. And so this is our discovery phase. So again, on the left-hand side here, we have our data tab, which is where you would load your data in. Using our cloud analytics services, which is our CAS engine, which I'll explain a little bit into our architecture slides. So you're able to load in your data, but only that data set if you wanted to. You can load in more if you feel fit, but this keeps your system running smoothly. There's no lag due to large data sets. You're just using what you need to use. You have all these objects as well. Any plots that you can dream of, they're in here. There's different containerizations for your visualizations. There's different analytics you can run in here. And then here's our suggestions tab. This is suggesting me to many different graphs right now. In the background, it's running probably some AI on a correlation matrix to see which aspects have the highest impact on one another, as well as what they would look like visually. And so that's the AI working on in the background with our automated processes. And so this is our demo right now. So the demo is a financial demo. So we're looking at percent subscribed. So we're looking at customers who subscribe to a term subscription loan. And so we see that 12% of our customers in this data set have said yes and have actually gotten a term subscription loan. And so we wanted to see what states have the highest percentages, which ones have the lowest. And so I have this bar right here, so we can change it around. We can see which cities are below or have a percent subscribed less than 6.73%. So we see we have a city right here in Michigan, which is the city is actually Grand Rapids. So we see Grand Rapids is actually performing less than that. Nebraska is performing less than that as well, but one of its cities, Lincoln, Nebraska, is actually performing at 7%. So you can see that this visualization, you can play around with it. It's interactive, and you can use it to discover new things about your data. Next, we have a drill chart. So this is just showing all the jobs for all our customers. And so we call it a drill chart is because you can click on this right here, and it'll drill into this section. So all the blue collar people with blue collar jobs. We can see their education level. So we see secondary, primary, unknown, and tertiary levels of education. And so you can even drill down even further. And so you can find out more and more about these people or these customers. And so you see our drill hierarchy, we've gone from blue collar, of blue collar workers, we go to primary, who has just primary education. And then we see what their marital status is. So we see married, single, divorced, unknown. And so you can drill down, you can keep drilling down as much as you want to in our hierarchies. You can also filter by state, and so we can see by through our blue collar and those who have had a primary education, we can see that their average age is 42 and their average subscription rate is 5.8%. Then here we have just a basic outline of what occupations have the highest balance, and we can see retirees have that, who has the highest percentage of term subscription loans, so which jobs have the highest percentage. We see student has the highest percentage. We go through, different visualizations. We can see the difference in ages. I remember when I first made this that it seems pretty uniform all the way up to age 60, and so you can see it gets quite variable there. And so you actually in SAS Viya you can split up that data. So I did an analysis for ages under 60, so you can see the primary jobs, their average balance of their accounts, who has home loans, who has personal loans that aren't term subscription loans. And then we can also see age over 60. And so we see this term subscriber rate is over 40%, but the home loan and personal loans are much lower. Now getting back into our automated process, this is an auto report. So this is a report that tells us in plain language what is going on. So what impacts have the highest, what characteristics of a term subscription loan have the highest effect on them. So we see customer duration, how long they've been a customer with us. The longer they've been a customer with us, the more likely that they are to be a term subscriber. And so we see down here, we have certain percentages talking us through what aspects of the customer are leading to them subscribing to the loan. And lastly, before I move on, we can also build models into this visualization. And so we see we have a decision tree, we have a neural network, we have a logistic regression, and we have a model comparison. So these are all trying to predict if a customer is going to say yes or no to a term subscription loan. And so we see that we have a model comparison which compares these three models we built, and it chooses the neural network as our best one. And so then from there, you would want to use the data from your neural network. You can, in SAS, so we see our neural network here, we can actually derive the predictive variables from here, and it will give us a potential client list. And so right here is this is the column that we want to pay attention to. So this is telling us who has not subscribed to a term deposit loan, but has the highest likelihood of doing so. So this is how you can generate leads for your sales team. So we can see that with the aspects we have here, that these are most likely people that you should be calling soon to try and get them to subscribe to a term subscription loan, because they most likely will say yes. And so a lot of these models may seem daunting, but to make these models within here, all you need to do is simply drag and drop them into the interface. So we have here in the left-hand side, we have our SAS Visual Statistics and our SAS Visual Data Mining Machine Learning. As we see neural network, all you need to do is drag and drop this into the screen in front of you, and you can easily see. And it'll just do the same analysis. You just assign what's the response variable. That's where you say term subscription loan, and it'll do the rest for you. And so that's how I created the one up here. This is how I created logistic regression. That's how I also created the decision tree. And so that's how it's very easy to utilize. For all these objects you see, all you need to do is click, drag, and drop into the interface, choose what the roles you want, and then you have your graph in front of you. So next, if you want to dive a little deeper into modeling, these are our pipelines that you would build in our Model Studio. And so we see here we have two pipelines. We have a pipeline right here, and if we want to create a new pipeline, we can see that we can have one automatically generate for us, or we could use a template that's been built in here for us. We have advanced templates that have already been built within this section for us. And so so you would run the model here. And so you create all these nodes, you click run the model, and it'll run and it'll compare your models to everything else in here. So I have two pipelines that I've built, and the aspects in here can also compare the two pipelines and generate insights for us. So we see that the best model we have is the forest diagram from pipeline 1. And then we can also generate insights from them. And so we have pipeline 1 here. So this is our winning model. So going from here to variable selection to forest to model comparison, that is our best model. But if you also want to analyze each of these nodes for yourself, you can just click on the nodes, and you can actually see the results from each individual node. And so you can select if you want to see, you can see how they're assessing them. So we see fit statistics, ROC reports, and then we have model interpretability tabs. We have our ICE plots, we have our Lime explanations. And so all the data that you need is sitting right here. And then once you have the model that you feel is fit, so you've been predicting the term subscription loans, all you need to do is go to your model. You go right here, you'll save your model to the exchange. You'll go to this right here, manage models, and you can publish it to your organization so that they can utilize your model that you just built. And that's how you go from the discovery phase to the deployment phase. You can build a model in here, and it can be and you can deploy it to the rest of your company. And so that's our demo for today, but I'm going to take us back into the presentation here and take us through the last bit on architecture. So we have architecture for continuous innovation. So as you can see on the chart here, that highlighted the architecture for SAS can be put into three parts: the engine, which is purple, the control system, which is blue, and the supporting parts, which is green. So the engine contains our CAS. So that's cloud analytics servers. And so that's where it splits up the workload for our system and makes it much easier to use. We have our SAS compute server, which is allowing us to run jobs automatically without us needing to intervene. And so all this is happening with our use of containerization and Kubernetes. Then our control system, you have microservices and web apps and APIs that can come in and do all the management work, the controlling work for you. And so it allows you to streamline updates, and so that you don't have to run your whole system to do updates. You can just run the microsystems, and their commodity services are what the nodes communicate together with, so that your project stays on tune with everything. And then lastly, for SAS Viya, it is cloud native and cloud portable. And so we have multiple engines. We like making use of having multiple engines, like the CAS servers as well as the microservices. And so we also have a unified component layout across different cloud providers. So as you can see, it's pretty unified against Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud Platform. And so all of these, so that you can switch around to whatever cloud environment that you feel fit. You can also have your own data on your own premises if need be, and so as well as a hybrid if you think that fits even better. And with that, that concludes our presentation. Where can you learn more? You can learn more at SAS.com trials. So we have free trials for you to start right here. So you can see whatever, if you want to try out our visual interface, you can do that. If you want to learn more about SAS and open source, we also have a link within our page here as well. And so I want to thank you for attending today. And if there's any questions, please let me know.